In this video, guys, I'm going to go through some of the worst investment properties that you could be purchasing in 2026. And I wouldn't be touching any of these assets with a 10-foot pole because they are just money killers and wealth killers. And the first one that I want to go through is studio apartments or high-rise apartments. Now, for those of you who are well known to my channel, who watch my channel a lot, then you'll know that I hate high-rise apartment buildings, and there are a multitude of reasons for that. Now, when you look at the property, it's going to look spectacular. A lot of these high-rise apartments look wonderful. They would be great to live in. You know, you've got a little bit of room, you've got nice bedrooms, nice flooring, nice bathrooms, and oftentimes you'll find them in really nice locations with plenty of amenities nearby. But if this picture doesn't already sum up as to why you don't invest into high-rise apartments, then only God could help you. Because when you look at this beautiful image of the river, you see an abundant amount of apartments. Apartment there, apartment here, apartment here. There's just a gajillion of them. And what that means is additional supply on the market. Not only can you see it in that image there, but when you look at this apartment, you can just see the amount of high-rise apartments in and around the area. This will add to the overall supply of the market and hence make your property less competitive, both from a rental market point of view as well as a capital growth perspective. All you have to do is actually just go to realestate.com, and the property that I'm showing you is in the Docklands. And if we press search and we look at the map view of this property, you can see that there are an abundant amount of listings available on the market. You can see that in one building alone, there are 3 properties available to be sold, one between 500 to 550. Another 2x1 in the same building, by the way, is going for 470 to 490. That one doesn't have the carport, that's probably why. But that is a simple example of how many properties are available to be sold in just that apartment alone. And then you've got all the side-by-side competitors, not to speak about all the other ones in Melbourne CBD as well. And so when you have this many apartments being available, it makes it very difficult to actually get any capital growth out of a property like this one. And even though it's an amazing property to live in and you can get the first home buyer benefits and all of this amazing starry-eyed stuff, when you're talking about money and wealth builders, these ones are not it. In fact, all you have to do is just go to the property and look at the history of the property. You scroll down on property.com.au, a free website for all of you guys to go have a look at. And you can see that in 2023, it was bought for $540,000. In 2 years, it has not moved $1 upwards. It has literally gone backward on the lower estimate and slightly higher on the higher estimate. And let's be honest, it'll probably get sold for $540. And then when you factor in like stamp duty, cost of purchase, legal fees, bank fees, mortgage interest payments, as well as selling costs, agent fees, you're in a negative loss. And then if you look further back on the history of this, in 2010, it was sold for $545,000. So in 10 years, the property has literally gone backwards. And in 2007, it sold for $631,000. Now, I assume that's when it was built, so that's why it's a lot more expensive. But this is a prime example of why you don't buy high-rise apartments. They do not make money. They will cash flow quite well, but from a capital growth perspective, which is important for a property portfolio building perspective, high-rise apartments 2x1s are not it. Now, don't get me wrong, there are apartments in Melbourne which make sense to purchase at this point in time, but they do not involve the words of high-rise. They involve the words of low density red brick units. Go have a look at those, but stay away from these type of high-rise apartments. They are one of the worst investment assets that you could purchase in your portfolio. You are literally shooting yourself and your family in the face. Simple as that. Now, if you guys also didn't know, I also do have a free newsletter where I go through different locations, suburbs, investing tips completely for free. This is a weekly newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter. I sometimes miss a couple of weeks, but every so often I will give you a property tip. I'll give you a suburb to consider. And I've been doing this for a year and a half now, and it is one of the best ways to get free property education at the hands of your fingertips in a smart, efficient manner. I tell you, I don't gatekeep any suburbs. I don't gatekeep any advice. It is all available for you guys at your fingertips for absolutely free. So go sign up to the newsletter and you'll only benefit benefit from something like this. Now let's get back into the video. Now the next asset that is probably the worst to consider is properties in mining towns. And this is a controversial one because I know someone on the YouTube comments is going to be like, I bought a property in Collie in 2022 and it's done really well and I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars and it's really done really well. Well, I'm very happy for you. But for me as an investor, I'm one of those investors who likes to buy a property and then go to sleep and then forget about it for the next 30 years because I don't like to think about this sort of stuff on a daily basis. And when you invest into mining towns, you are taking it away from the actual fundamentals of a location. When we're talking about the fundamentals of a location, I am talking about economic diversity. When you look at this location like Port Hedland and you look at the economic diversification on Remplan, you look at the industries, well, it's not very diversified. Almost 33% of all jobs in this location come from mining. And then when you look at the exports, basically 90% of what it produces is in the mining industry. So that means downstream services, cross-stream services are all going to be related to mining, which could include manufacturing and construction as well. So that is not ideal when we're considering a location for a long-term investment property. And you don't only have to look at the industries. You can actually go to HTAG or SQM Research and you can have a look at the property and you can have a look at the suburb of South Hedland and you start to scroll down and then you just see this huge dump in property prices. Property prices in this location in 2013 was $837,000. In 2018, it was $221,000. That is a loss of around $600,000. And not only did you lose $600,000, you lost the opportunity cost of 6 years of investing in the right locations. Now, there has been a little bit of a rebound effect and we can see prices are starting to grow again. But then you have to ask yourself, would you then go and purchase a $600,000 asset in 2026 in this location when there are tons of other locations that you could be considering that have much better long-term fundamentals when it comes to property investment? And quite honestly, I kid you not, this location was brought to me by a community member because a BA told them that this would be a good location to buy in. And this is literally the reason why I know about this location, because otherwise I would have no idea about this town because it's a mining town and I don't consider them, and I don't really consider smaller regional locations in regardless anyway. And this is an example of a property. Like, it's a wonderful brick home that's 3x1, decent interior, a little bit on the older side, but you can see it's sold for $531,000 in March of 2026. Now, when you do look at the rental estimates, you can get $900 per week, which is just absolutely insane, and even more, $995. And when you put the numbers into a property like this, it is simply astounding, right? You can be making around $13,000 before tax and around $8,000 after tax when you invest in one of these mining towns. So from a cash flow perspective, it is a tick, 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 and tick. However, from a capital growth perspective, it is not worth the trade-off in my opinion. You may make $8,000 per year, but you could lose $600,000 over that 6-year period. So, you might make 50K in cash flow, but you're going to lose $600,000 in capital growth. Doesn't really add up. Now, I know what people are going to say, that this property is below replacement cost. And yes, it is quite below replacement cost, right? It's 500K, 682 square meters of land, plenty of land. Look, while I don't think this property is going to be worth $200,000 after 6 years, I still don't think it is worth the risk of taking that chance where you might get a very high cash flow positive asset, but this property could also crash in value where it goes to 400K, around 450, or just stays there and doesn't actually move at all. It is a risk that I am not willing to take. Some people can take it, but I'd rather sleep better at night and not invest in a major cyclical location. Now, the last investment asset that I want to talk about is something that is somewhat common. It is actually off the plan properties in new estates. When you look at properties in a location and in a suburb, you'll often find properties that are in new estates. And these are often promoted by sales agents, buyers agents, property managers, because they'll get kickbacks from developers and there's good margin in them for them to sell you these assets. But these are capital growth killers. And the reason it is simply because it comes down to that supply and demand equation. And I'm not just talking about off the plan properties. I'm talking about properties like this that are surrounded by abundance amount of vacant land and they have incoming supply. You can see the foundational work of assets around this property where you can see the roads are made, the lots are made, and it's not worth it. And all you have to do is just search up the suburb of Ballsbrook in WA and you can see the amount of house and land packages available in this location. Now, if you take $750,000 and you put it in this location where there is tons of incoming supply, then don't complain when you have no capital growth, because when you don't have the demand to meet all of this new housing coming into that area, you're not going to get the growth that comes with it. And now you can take the same $750,000 and you can just zoom out and you can pick 100 other locations right across Australia that you could be investing in that is going to yield you much better results for that 750. There's a handful of locations in Queensland, there's many in New South Wales, and many in Victoria. So why would you take that risk and go purchase one of these things where you will have limited capital growth, or the chance of capital growth is much less likely? Remember, when you invest in property, you always want to stack the factors in your favor. And the best way to do that is by looking at established locations where there is low supply, low building approvals, and high demand. In fact, when you go on HTAG and you have a look at the suburb of Bullsbrook and you start to scroll down, you can see that the building approvals is 4% of that location, right? And building approval ratio shows the proportion of newly approved residential buildings over the past 12 months relative to the total dwellings in that area. And this is flagged as a red flag concern on HTAG because it is. There's 153 new houses that could be coming over a 12-month to 18-month period, and it's just not worth the risk. Not to mention the fact that there's also an airfield right by, so there's going to be additional noise as well. This is not something I would consider, guys, right? You don't want to be buying these off the plan new estate buildings. It's a no-go. And so to really summarize this video, there's a couple of ones you want to always miss out on. That is high-rise apartment buildings, mining towns, and new estates and off-the-plan properties. They are not worth the hassle. Do not do them. You will miss out on hundreds of thousands of dollars over several years. You do not want to be making that mistake. But if you do want to know which investment assets that you should be buying, that's where you jump into the private community where you can get tailored advice to help you achieve your financial goals. From deal reviews to suburb reviews to templates and resources, there's so much more. There's 76 reviews for you guys to go have a read, understand, and learn about the community. It is jam-packed with a lot of resources. And if you reach the end of this video, then you're serious about investing. So I'm talking to you guys. Jump in the community, get the help you need. Till next time, thank you very much.